Queen, Sheer Heart Attack, 13 tracks, 38 minutes, the third studio album from the British rock band, released November 1974 by EMI and Elektra Records, produced by Roy Thomas Baker and the band, recorded at Air, Rockfield and Trident Studios, as well as Wessex Sound. 3 singles were released in Killer Queen, Now I'm Here, and Lily of the Valley. I like how you're nodding along as he's just sitting there nodding along, completely subconsciously going, yep.
He's fact-checking.
Yep. He's the ABC's fact-check right there. Never know where that budget went. This album peaked number 12 in the US, number 2 in the UK, 19 here in Australia, while going well across Europe and Southeast Asia, eventually going platinum in the USA and Poland, as well as gold in the UK. This album has become one of the band's most highly regarded releases and marked a point in time where all the band members were contributing songs and getting writing credits. Go for it.
Well, it's a Queen album, so you know it's good.
Yes, straight away.
We were discussing this earlier. They don't have a shit album. Like, some are stronger than others, but there isn't a shit...
No.
One of the few that can say that, actually.
Yeah, and look, this is one of my favourite Queen albums as well. I just love it. It's so much fun. I don't listen to Queen albums in full as much as I should, as we were talking about earlier as well. Too often you're trapped into sort of greatest hits, and like that greatest hits album was pretty much issued to every house in the suburbs when I was a kid. So this as an album, as a work of art, is just brilliant. I love it. It's so diverse, it's clever, and it rocks. Stone Cold Crazy is so metal before metal was a thing.
Yeah, metal.
That's a thrash song. It really is. I mean, all they do is dial up the distortion and change nothing else, and it's thrash.
Yeah.
It's so
cool.
That's
what Metallica did.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Metallica did a great job of it too.
Yeah.
But the classic Queen operatic vocals are still there on other tracks. The ballads and straight out guitar rock and whatever the hell Bring Back Leroy Brown is. I don't know what you call that, but I love it. It's great.
I love it.
I will go with 20s vaudeville or something. But it's cool. If you don't like Freddie, get off my planet. This is Queen in full flight. It just fucking rocks. 9.5 out of 10. What I took the half point for, I don't know. It's a Stone Cold Crazy, Tenement, Funster, Now I'm Here, and Killer Queen.
Nice.
Yeah, so the band that reviewers hated and fans loved.
Yeah.
And
so
still to this day, the same
still
thing
to
with
this
the fucking
day.
movie.
Yeah, movies.
I have to admit, I've never really listened to Queen before outside of, the parents playing the Greatest Hits album.
This would be a shock for you.
Yeah, this is quite a shock. So, going into it, I have to admit, I was actually dreading it a little bit, in the sense because I didn't know.
This isn't your wheelhouse either.
No, it isn't. No, it isn't. But I have to say, I was pleasantly surprised. It took me right off the bat. First things first, these are outstanding musicians. For mine, the absolute highlights is definitely Brian May's guitar playing and Freddie's vocals. Mm-hmm. They are both absolutely outstanding and phenomenal. No pun intended, they are killer. Definitely intended. The production, especially for the time, works. Everything comes through really well, especially for this kind of songwriting. Some of the tracks... I can understand why some people don't like this band as well, because like some...
Well, they're wrong.
They're wrong, but at the same time, like...
Let's get them.
Some things,
get them with a bat.
Some things do come through a little bit cartoonish with the vocals, and a little bit...
wash your mouth out, you do.
Yeah. they do.
Like the tiki torches in a minute.
They do, but I mean... I can understand why you'd go, yeah, that's a bit much and a bit weird. But I mean, like I said, it's a fantastic album. If you're a passing Queen album fan, or if you're like me and you never really listened to it, definitely give it a listen. The highlights are Killer Queen and Stone Cold Crazy and Flick of the Wrist. I give it an 8 out of 10. It's a great album.
Well, nice.
Cool.
Yeah, similar to Brendan, I haven't listened to many Queen albums all the way through.
Okay.
But when this one was picked, I was actually quite happy because Julia's recently brought this on vinyl. So it has been getting a lot of rotation, so I'm like, yeah, I'm a bit familiar with this, I got a bit of a jump on it. I love how it starts off with Brighton rock and then we get something a little different. It changes moods quite a lot through the album and it all fits together as a perfect Queen album. It's heavy rock and then there's some tender piano moments, and yeah, I mentioned Brighton rock, but there's a part in there that's almost a thrash vibe. It's got like a heavy chugging 16th note, which is pretty cool, and no wonder Metallica covered Stone Cold Crazy. At times Freddie Mercury sounds a bit different to what you'd know from the later day stuff and some of the bigger songs. There's some...
Yeah, he was more diverse than people give him credit for.
Yeah, he had a lot more to his voice. I'm sure there's more to discover as we go through for the albums.
We'll do a Queen special eventually.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Yeah. My daughter would love that. Both my kids would. Big Queen fans.
Still right now.
Parenting done right.
Yeah, Bowie and Queen, they're all over it. I love how Tenement, Funster, Flick of the Wrist and Lily of the Valley kind of run into each other. They kind of keep the flow going. It's really cool. it's not just a collection of songs, it's a whole album. Sheer Heart Attack will deliver a great listen the first time, but there's more in there the more you listen to it. It just gets better and better. So many different layers. I gave it 9 out of 10. Brighton Rock, Killer Queen, Flick of the Wrist, Lily of the Valley, Now I'm Here, and Stone Cold Crazy.
The carnival atmosphere, how good is that? Just to set the album, and as the guitar comes in, it gets more frantic, and it just builds up. But there's one part of Brighton Rock that I don't like.
Okay.
And it's the only part that it's the only thing that still irks me on the album. It's Freddie's initial vocal. That high pitched
Oh, I love that
thing. It's just
the falsetto.
It made me uneasy. It made no. It's my fucking time. No.
Uneasy is a harsh word.
It didn't make me feel good at all. And I want to feel good.
Fair enough.
All right, and that's just how it is. I didn't like that. I went back and I thought, hang on, did I hear that right? Did my computer fuck up for a sec? And I went back to it, and no, it was there again. And I'm like, I just didn't like that approach. I thought, no, of all the things you can do with your voice, that's
turn
not
the Christmas lights off.
Well,
See,
you know what?
You killed Christmas!
You killed Christmas by having to go with Freddie.
Well,
Freddie's soul.
and he passed away today.
Anniversary of his death. He's watching this.
And Eric
That'd be
Carr.
nice. You respect.
Oh, I'm a disgusting man.
Well, him, it's the dog chewing on him.
Feed your dogs, damn it.
You keep going, I'm going to fix it.
That's fucked up, Fury.
But other than the uneasy feeling that I was having, and also the lights going out, all right, and Christmas is all fucked.
Well, there goes the Christmas budget.
Oh, we're back.
We're back.
Okay.
yourself.
Can I just say, Brian May and the rest of the band, how
white flickering.
how good are they as a rhythm section? Like, it's unmistakably Queen. Every time you hear it, they had a certain unique way of playing. But as soon as you heard it, didn't matter what style they were doing, you knew it was Queen. You didn't even actually have to hear Freddie first. You could just go, "This is Queen. I can hear it already." I don't know a band that can do that with so many genres and style changes and still make it sound like themselves.
Yeah.
You always go, hang on, who's this? But you know it's Queen. Fantastic. So highly underrated these guys are, and I hope that this new movie puts them back on the map where they should be, and it should never be gone, regardless of, Freddie's here or not. This band left an unmistakable mark on music that, it has everything. I don't think you can be as diverse and be successful.
Yep.
I don't think it's record companies won't even allow you to do it. The bands have tried. You look at Extreme. They tried to be the next Queen. It fell on its ass, and they have some great albums. They're just never going to happen again. So this album was fantastic. I couldn't believe it. Again, I'm like you, more of the greatest hit stuff. I never actually heard a proper a release. I just was amazed by the songs that I didn't know. I still, as much as I didn't like the initial vocal of Brighton Rock, I still think that's a fantastic song as it goes through. That guitaring on that, holy fuck.
Yeah.
Brian May's got to be one of my favourite all-time guitarists.
Oh, yeah,
Amazing.
it's up there.
Oh,
Not alone.
really good. I gave it a 9 out of 10.
Nice.
I loved everything. It had everything beforehand that they've done on the first couple of albums. It was moving into a heavier direction, which I think they needed to do just to keep their relevance of the 70s and what was going on then with Deep Purple, Alice Cooper, bands like that. Although they don't sound like those bands, just that they were still a guitar-driven band with the youth, and what was going to happen with Sex Pistols and that kind of stuff coming through. They were just like that little oddball on the side, not too much, but enough, and enough balls to make their vocals sound fantastic and lay the fuck out of them. They gave enough Elton John feel with the piano, but doesn't sound like Elton John, they just grabbed all these elements and made it to be whatever Queen is supposed to be. And I still, to this day, don't know what they were ever trying to achieve. Other than they wrote fantastic songs. And like I said, 9 out of 10. Brighton Rock, Tenement, Funster, Lily of the Valley, Now I'm Here, and Stone Cold Crazy. And to be honest with you, the whole album is fantastic. But you've just got to pick a few. 9 out of 10. Yeah.
Cool. Okay. The best thing about Queen albums is that they're all over the place and you never know what you're going to get. Especially those first 4 albums. We were talking about this off air just before. Those first 4 albums are flawless. And they're all different from each other as well. And they're all equally as good. Like I say, you never know what you're going to expect. A pile driving rocker can be paired with a really mellow song the next, then goes into stuff in prog. It's a band that you really got to pay attention to, especially that early era. It's one of those things that makes this band so hard to categorise, but it's so fun to review, especially for me. I'm a massive Queen fan, and it's also why they're on my Mount Rushmore of rock by far. No, Freddie will never be replaced as being the best frontman ever, as far as I'm concerned, ever for anyone. So before Bohemian Rhapsody and Another One Bites the Dust and all those hits that people know off the greatest hits albums, Queen was essentially a progressive hard rock band, especially those first 2 albums, and we see it on this as well. Sheer Heart Attack showcases where the band was heading, what they would become, but also gave a nod to what they were doing in the past as well. So for me, it was really that transition album, but they did it seamlessly.
Could you imagine seeing these guys at a club gig?
Oh, man. Nuts.
Yeah. See, that's one of my regrets is I never got to see Cream properly before Freddie passed away. I just missed out. I think I was 12 or 13 when I came in, and Freddie's best ever vocal performances for me are on this album. Like I said, I'm a big fan of the band as well, but I love his vocal performances on this. Opens with that crazy falsetto, which is awesome. On Brighton Rock.
Lights to come back on.
But even that song, that song's got that Rush-like instrumentation in it. And if you really want to hear Cream go prog, check out that song. And what a ballsy opener to an album, like these guys have mentioned as well. Killer Queen is what it is, it's just a great little pop rock song. For unmistakable Brian May solo. I'm like you, as soon as you hear Brian May plug in and play, you know it's him.
It's just the whole band. Whether it be
just
the
that
bass
whole
player
rhythm section's ridiculous.
Roger on drums, it's just the chemistry was just fucking.
Yeah, but speaking
flawless.
of Roger on drums, the Tenement Funster, that showcases how good this band is.
Yeah.
Each individual person in this band, we had what Queen had, which a lot of bands don't have. They had 4 excellent vocalists and songwriters. Tenement Funster is one of my favourite tracks on this album, and that's one that Roger Taylor brought to the band. Now imagine the balls that you've got to have to go into the recording studio, into the rehearsal studio, say, hey, I've got a song, hey Freddie, sit down over there, I'm going to sing this. Right? That takes balls. When you've got Freddie Mercury as your vocalist, and you say, hey, this is my song, I'm going to sing it, and do a bloody fantastic job on it as well. That
testament to Freddie to go, you know what? Do it.
Freddie was always like that. Freddie always let the others shine.
He was quite happy to sit back and just play the piano for a while.
Now I'm here. That should be familiar to every Queen fan, and the vocal panning on that between at the very start from the left to the right. Love that.
I missed that in recording. I missed that so much.
We found so much of it lately too. With the reviews, it's been cool.
The thing I miss about it is because when you're growing up learning to play guitar, the guitar was always on the left, so you could always pan it to the left and learn how to play. It's how we did it, kids. On these bloody YouTube tablets.
No app for that, folks. So we should make an app.
That's pretty good.
Just a stereo, you heard of that?
On this album, Queen manages to sound like every other 70s rock band here, like Rush, Zeppelin, even Uriah Heep on In the Lap of the Gods, but they make it sound like their own at the same time. The difference is that actually Queen tries to be pretentious and over the top, and they pull it off.
They don't try; they just are.
That's what they are.
I think like today's the anniversary of Freddie's death, and as we're filming. So by the time he says, as we're filming today's the anniversary of Freddie's death, one of the quotes was that, "I'm not going to die a rock star. I'm going to be a rock star. I'm going to die a legend," or something like that. So the guy, it was just in him.
You achieved that goal.
Yeah,
definitely.
Stone Cold Crazy, as Brendan mentioned, a precursor to metal, as far as I was concerned. But this album's just got everything in it. Sheer Heart Attack. Love it. Look, I gave it 10 radios out of 10 Gagas.
Oh, fuck. That's probably your worst one yet.
There's some coming up. It gets worse. Good. Killer tracks.
Confidence there.
I can't pick a dud track on it. So the standout for me is the whole album.
Okay.
Well,
this is a very much loved album from one hell of an iconic band. Not a definitive go-to for mine though. For me, there are others like Kind of Magic or Made in Heaven. They really are the ones. I don't know. I found those ones more. But it's still Queen, so as soon as we get a Queen album, I'm in a very fucking happy place.
Yes.
The talent in this band, which we've touched on, is undeniable. Each and every member plays their part to perfection. The writing, for me, along with the production, gets better over their journey. But this one shows you how good they were early on. Like their third album, and they're still fucking nailing it. For a rocking yet artistic record, nothing is overplayed. That's the one thing Queen did really well. They never got too caught up in what they were doing. Then you had to bring things back to make it so it was always going to be catered to the live audience, never for their own ego's sake kind of thing. They always managed to... They had that. You get tracks like Innuendo and stuff, but they always managed to do things in such a way that even on tracks like that, you can still have moments where there's sing-alongs and the audience interaction comes into it. They never lost that aspect of being a performing artist.
No.
Freddie was one of a kind, but I love how they share the lead vocal duties across this record. And all in all, this is more balls than people probably expect from Queen if they don't know their catalogue too well. Very much a rock to hard rock record overall from start to finish. They've always got the different things they throw in to make an album unique and stand out from other bands, but their sense of theatre is nothing short of amazing, and they've captured that in the writing on this record. These parts all combine so well, as do the backing vocals and the harmonies. It's a very mature release in a lot of respects. I love this band's lyrics. I reckon that gets overlooked from this band a lot, but they are amazing storytellers. And yes, they have the fun stuff, but when they get into political things, that they really do have something to say. And it's very, very witty, very sharp. It's like the best of the British wit comes through in their work. I think the production has aged a bit for this one. It doesn't hold up. Like, you put this up against Yellow Brick Road, for example, and the production standards are very different. And that's going to come down to budgeting and time and resources. And so you don't fault the band for that, but when you're just taking it in as a consumer, it's like, there's a timestamp attached.
Well, they still hadn't sold any albums at this point.
No.
They're pretty much broke at this point in time.
But this is where bands like these guys and Thin Lizzy are fantastic. That the early years were a struggle, and they do something that breaks through, and it's fantastic.
But that's why you're never going to see it again. You're not going to see record labels give 2-3 albums a go before they...
4 failures and away you go.
Yes, well, I've got some thoughts I'll share on that off the camera. Well, I won't say that on the record for this episode. Maybe later on. But it's also interesting to note for me that it seems to become more noticeable in the busier songs as opposed to the quieter songs. So things like this fucking Now I'm Here and that sounds really good today. But the busier ones, the more heavier ones, it's
a little muddy in spots.
They suffer from the lack of clarity kind of thing. And it's just age. It's just age. It's a pretty diverse list, and it's got some great variety in the tracks. Lots of different feelings have gone into this in the way they created it. Some balls stuff, some outright pop on here as well, but everything in between too. The track order does put it all together very nicely. That's one thing this band fucking nailed. Everything. Every release they did that right. And I love how some of these songs segue into each other, which is very cool. Different tones, particularly in the guitar work on this, fucking amazing. But the same with the piano. They did different things with the piano and the mic placement to give that a different feel as well. There are some really nice deeper cuts on this record that people should not overlook. On the flip side, a track or two that could have been worked on a little bit longer, I think, for mine as well. I thought that was just a track that just needed a little bit more refining. All in all, though, it's still a very, very good album. One to check out. I don't know if this will convert people that aren't already fans. I don't think this is the album for that. But I think for casual fans, this is certainly one to go and check out immediately. 8.5 out of 10, Stone Cold Crazy, Killer Queen, Now I'm Here, Tenement, Funster, In the Lap of the Gods Revisited. Check it out for yourselves. Let us know what you think.
Geez, I'm glad we've been concise. 20-minute reviews, haven't you? You didn't do well?
No.
Oh, poor you.
One or two.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I did it.
I kept it short and sweet. This one will be able to fly through.
Yeah, this will be quick.
Hey!
It is. Hey! I was going to give you an hour, but...
Not much yourself?
Hey, good man. Hello, Danny. It's me.
Jeez, full house.
Right?
It's a bit over the top.
Yeah. How are you?
Good, how are you?
How you going, man?
Hey man, good to see you, man.
How are you, man?
Good.
How you going?
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Fucking put that...
How you going? How you going?
Hang on, fucking loop for you.
80 minutes of CD, please. You know. How you going? How you going? How you going?
We're working through it. How the fuck is one? Oh yeah, this is a short one.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, full fridge too. Shit.
Well, this one will be concise because we've been wanking on about Kiss and Queen and Elton John for...
Yeah, we'll probably start...
Nothing like a good kiss wank.
Shorter end of it all now.
It was a good Kiss wank.
A Brazilian kiss wank.
I'm waiting for the
That's a good
biscuit
wax.
wank.
I'm looking forward to the Limp Bizkit
Right
wank.
over here.